righty, this is part two. So you guys fulfill your deal with Profile Records. What's going on with Poor Righteous Teachers at this point? You do 4 albums. You say the label is sold its stake.
Yeah, they pretty much they sold their catalog to I believe it was Arista, and we went up there, we sat down, we talked to them, and by this time I don't know, I think they have like Whitney Houston or all these other people, and we just like know where we fit into the grand scheme of things with all of that, you know what I mean? And but we sit down, we talk to them, and they were kind of saying things without saying it. They, y'all, what y'all doing, what kind of music. We let them hear some of the music we was making, because at this point, we were just recording ourselves. So, and they listened to a couple of joints, said they like it and all of that, but our mind was, you know trying to put our music out ourselves, trying to take ownership of our own stuff. So we was doing our own thing. By this point, we teamed up with James Lindsay from Rap Snacks, and we developed a record label called Exit 7A, and we began to push our own music through that label, and we put out songs like Just Live, um, and things like that, Save Me, and things like that, which it was, was getting a little more spiritual to me on those records. But we just putting out our stuff ourselves. At that point, we're still doing a lot of different things. I start getting a little bit more into the culinary thing, and Wise is doing his thing, doing some other things. Shaheed is doing some other things. So at that point, we start trying out some other things that we wanted to do, because basically from the time we was like 18 to around 27 or whatever, that's all we was doing. So it was like, what else can we do? What else in life is going on? So we start kind of doing some of those things at the same time, still making beats, still recording and stuff like that. So, Wise, I think, start working on some solo projects. We helped them on some of those things, produce some songs. Cause at this point I'm producing some of our local artists. I started taking them in the studio, trying to give back in that way. You know what I mean? Like how Tony D produced us. I'm trying to find the next artist that, want to break and produce them. Me and Shahi is getting on that. Wise is helping, you know, um, in which ways he can, because, with sometimes lyricists, they don't want other lyricists telling them what to do.
Right.
They just want you to drop the beat. But Wise, he was very well respected by MCs, so he was giving his input on the lyric side, and we was just producing different people, and artists like Scott Lark. It was an MC named Scott Lark, and he was with Unfound Flavors. We had this kid named Stash. Um, my cousins, Cali Cal and Biz, they were called AD, and a girl by the name of Narubi Selah. She got a couple songs now on the internet, called Hookless. And just things like that, man. We was just producing other artists, trying to develop the label, and things like that. So, that's pretty much what's going on. And we wasn't really trying to pursue a record deal with anybody, because by this time we're understanding points a little bit better and publishing and all of that, and we'd rather get 100% of 100,000 records than, whatever little percentage they was giving us from the other things. So we're thinking more along those lines, do it ourselves. We're learning tough lessons, like, how hard it is to do it yourself and things like that. But, I count it all joy. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just a part of the process of learning.
At any point, did you ever want to come out with a solo album?
Uh, Not really. Not, it wasn't it wasn't something that I'm a type like this. I like to create a demand and then fill that demand. I'm more into crowd development than artist development. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe if you're an artist, you wake up knowing that. You know what I mean? You don't have to convince yourself. You're thinking about rapping, you're writing raps, you're making beats, you're digging for breaks, and that's what we was doing all the time. It was more so about, is that what the fans want? You know what I mean? Like, if people want, the more they want to hear me, rap, then the more I was willing to fulfill that demand. You know what I'm saying? Because I always thought, like, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. You know what I'm saying? We already had a name, and people loved what we were doing. But it's one of those things where I did eventually release one, but it was out of, I love what I do too. You know what I mean? So I put some things together. It's called Tools of the Trade, where I put together some of the beats I made and some of the lyrics that I had, and just, put something together for the fans, to see what Culture Freedom would sound like, by itself. Some people might have that question in their mind, can this kid really spit, or does he just do what he do? You
Right.
know, at times I would give him a little sample, but I wouldn't say during the time we was recording records and all that, I really didn't have a desire to be a solo artist. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't. It just wasn't, because my thing was I always loved how the group sound, and I just wanted to create what I heard. So I really didn't choose, like, I just want to make beats or I just want to do that. I just wanted to be a part of the process. So, that's why sometimes you would hear me make beats, sometimes singing, sometimes I just wanted to hear that finished product, so, and I love the camaraderie of the whole thing. You know what I mean? I love what Shaheed did. I love what Tony D did. I love what Wise, was doing. So I just love the way everything came together. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
especially back in those days, people were like group minded. It wasn't, a lot of solo artists out there. You know what I mean? It was like Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy, EPMD, you know what I'm saying? Run DMC. So it was more group minded. It was more a collaborative effort, rather than, me. So, you
Right.
know, that's that's what I like, because that's what I grew up, on. So it was all about the group.
Sadly, Father Shaheed passed away in 2014. What was your relationship like with him at the time, and how did that affect you mentally?
It was great. As a matter of fact, on the solo record, I got like 3 records from beats that he sent me, because we were starting to work on some things, during that time. I hit him up one day and I was like, yo, send me some beats. Even though I was making beats, I still was, a big fan of Shaheed's production. You know what I'm saying? To me, he's still one of the best producers ever, you know, and he finally sent me some beats, and he emailed them to me. He was like, beat, beat. He sent them to me. So I was like, all right, cool. So on the solo record, um, I got a song called Resurrection, and a couple other songs that Shaheed produced, and it was just snippets. I didn't extend the beat. I didn't do all of that. I just rapped over the beat exactly how he sent it to me. So it was great, man. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, this past weekend I just attended his daughter's wedding, which she got married on his birthday. So she got married and she honored her father at the same time. So I thought that was dope. I mean, he's my brother, man. Good friend. Great guy to be around. Very funny, man. Like, super funny. Like, Shaheed would have us cracking up. He was an older member of the group. Wise was after him, and most people think I was the oldest or something, but I'm actually the youngest member in the group. And he was like a big brother too. You know what I'm saying? And man, we just miss him, man. I miss him. He schooled me on digging for beats, how to choose records, how to recognize drum loops and stuff, like all that stuff. You know what I mean? He was very knowledgeable of the game. He loved his friends, his family, and man, I miss him. Every day, man, every single day. Especially I can't look at my turntables or my drum machine or anything without thinking about him. Man. I literally wanted to just set my drum machine on fire, like you know what I'm saying? Because I was like,
Sorry, man. Take your time. So sorry, man.
nah.
So sorry. Um, what moving forward, what can we expect from Culture Freedom in the future, and what is the status of Poor Righteous Teachers?
Everybody, everything cool. Me and Wise cool. You know what I'm saying? We still kick it. He's working with company Rap Snacks right now. He's doing things like that. He has a mentoring program where they're helping young people in the inner city learn how to play the stock market, things like that, how to invest, how to you know become producers, learn their way around the studio, and things of that nature. And he's just he has a family, two sons. He's been married about as long as I have, and just everyday life. You know what I mean? Doing stuff like that. He's still recording. He put out a number of solo projects. You go online, check them out. Real dope. And we stay in contact, man. You know, we stay in contact. Actually, I just spoke to him this morning. Sent him over some things that I'm working on. And I got this thing called Hip Hop's Top Chef that I'm doing, and I sent him over ideals. He sent me over some product. I kind of worked with it, try to turn it to some gourmet stuff. you know,
Nice,
and that kind of thing, man. It's just day by day. You know what I mean?
no doubt.
Day,
Before we get out of here, what does Culture Freedom consider his greatest achievement over the years?
I would say, man, my family. Being that I grew up in a single family home, never really spent much time with my father. I would say my family and my love for God. You know what I'm saying? Rededicate myself to Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? And just that's it, man. Just knowing who I am in Christ, and just making sure that I stay who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe a person's problems start when being themselves ain't good enough. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you recognize who you are as an individual, you keep God first, you know, that's the main thing. And I think that's the most important, because without that, I'll be somewhere trying to, relive the past. you know.
Right.
But right now I'm just looking forward to the future. And before I go, I want to mention, I have a clothing line which I sell hats, t-shirts, all of that. It's called Coat Free Wear. You can hit me up on a www.coat-freecollection.com and pick that up. But other than that, man, just living. We working on new music right now. I got a project out right now, that an EP I'm working on with a guy by the name of Neff 150, a guy by the name of Frank Brown. He's singing on some of the joints. Uh, the newest joint we did was called The Real Hip Hop, featured an artist named Libs. And all these guys are from my old neighborhood. So you know what I mean. Still working with locals and stuff like that. Helping them get a taste. Some of them had stuff out before, so they have their own little following. So we just still making music, man. Still having fun with it.
Hey, I want to thank you so much for spending this evening with me. Your music has changed my life. I can still remember 30 years ago seeing Rock This Funky Joint on the screen, and I've been a fan ever since. So I'd like to take this time to thank you for everything you've done for the culture.
Yeah,
And Keep doing your thing. Before we get out of here, can you shout out your social media?
Uh, my IG is at Culture Freedom PRT. My Facebook is Cult Free Freedom Kerry Williams. And once again, my clothing line is www.cult-freecollection.com. You can hit me up. Also, be on the lookout for hip hop's top chef. I know we got Jerobi out there from A Tribe Called Quest. He's a great chef. We got a lot of them out there. But Culture Freedom is taking on all challenge. You know what I'm saying? But that's it, man. Just live life, have fun, man. And I appreciate you. I want to shout you out for setting this whole interview up, man. Great questions, great interview. And man, R.I.P. Father Shaheed,
Yes,
R.I.P.
sir.
Tony Dean, my man Exotep, my man Power God, and all those fallen soldiers. I just want to shout all y'all out, man. Respect.
Respect. Thank you so much. Stay safe out here in these crazy times. Anything you need, I am
Yeah,
just inbox away. So let me know. Thank you again, Culture Freedom. And thank you, everybody, for logging on tonight. This has been episode 99. Salute, Culture Freedom. Thank you so much.
peace.
Peace.